So that didn't work as well. Hey, y'all, we're going to get started. Good evening. Thank you all for coming.
Do roll call. Mayor Doby.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nafolda.
Here.
Councilmember Hasselbrink.
Here.
Councilmember Hibbard.
Here.
Councilmember Murphy.
Here. All right, if you could all stand and join me as we do our Pledge of Allegiance, and then please remain standing as Mayor Pro Tem Nafolda will give the invocation. Right hand over your heart. Here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, I want to thank you today for bringing this community together, for allowing us to meet here and to participate in decisions that will greatly impact our community this evening. I thank you for bringing everyone together, community members, city officials, first responders. Please keep us in your blessings and give us the courage, the wisdom, and the strength to make the important decisions that we need to make. Amen.
Amen. All righty, and then I hear that our illustrious city manager has an announcement for us.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I just want to make this comment because I know that we have a lot of people here that are interested in item 12A, which is the comprehensive update to the city's housing element and the related general plan and zoning amendments. That item actually will be continued to a further meeting. There will be no action on that item this evening. We have noticed a public hearing, so there will be an opportunity for those of you that have shown up to speak at that time in order to offer your comments and your questions. This is being done simply because there has been over about a year and a half of work that's been done on this project. And so I think taking another meeting to allow our members to actually gain some additional information is actually prudent, given the impacts that it's going to have on the community. So I wanted to, again, make that noted that item 12A will be pulled from the agenda tonight and that it will be noticed at a regular meeting, likely in February. Thank you.
Okay. Can you clarify that? I hear some people thinking maybe that they wasted their time.
12A is the comprehensive housing update, the housing element, and the general plan amendments that would go along with that. Those items are being deferred until a further meeting. That is correct, sir.
You're welcome to still stay and share, but we are not making any decisions this evening, okay? I just want to make that very clear, okay? Okay. All righty, so we're doing presentation time. All right, if I can get my folk to join me down front. We're just going to wait a second for the people that desire to leave. They can peacefully do so without distracting from any of the wonderful certifications that we're presenting this evening. We want to hear all about it. Okay. Like if they were already outside. Because I'm not worried about y'all hearing me. I'm worried about you hearing whoever comes up next. Okay, and then just in the interest of keeping on our time, I do appreciate y'all's patience. We ran a little late, but let's get started, shall we? So we're going to present some certificates to the Los Alamitos girls varsity tennis team in recognition of achieving the 2022 CIF Southern Section Division II semifinalists. Y'all should clap. So they had a streak of 9 consecutive matches won that culminated in their first semifinals appearance since 2017. That is outstanding. I would like to invite their coach Maria up so that she can present these certifications. Come on up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. I just want to say a huge shout out to the chief, the city, all of our supporters, our parents, our families, the administration at the high school. I mean, we're just one of the great athletic programs at the high school, and we just want to thank everybody for their support because we really couldn't have done it without them. And our athletes, the stars of the show, it was such an amazing season. We really learned a lot about self-growth and what the foundations of it takes to make a great team. And just want to thank the girls also for all their hard work and sacrifices through it was what became a long season, but a successful season. All right, Macy Bukta. Elizabeth Chin. Ashlyn Chow. Yes. Bailey Hartman. Audrey Cranston. Claire La. Leanne Lee. Janelle Liu. Madeline Pinches. Jordan Shen. And Angela Stonick. And then I'd also like to call up my assistant coach, Alexandra Gahungu, math teacher.
Okay, now everybody squeeze in. Emily, please direct us. So that we can all
You can alternate. I can see everybody's face. Hi, cheese.
All right. Next, we have a presentation of certificates to the 2022 My City, My Lifestyle Partnership Program sponsors. This partnership was launched in 2018. It's local business partners with the city to bring community programs and events to improve the quality of life in Los Alamitos. Where is Director Emily Noda?
Good evening, everyone. I'm doing a little double duty here, so I'm going to call up Recreation Manager Jennifer Sasoyev to come up and assist with calling up our sponsors. Our sponsors mean everything to us, truly. We produce over 20 events a year, and we take pride in uniting the community together, from our residents, businesses, nonprofits, school district, the base, the churches, everybody all together, throw lots of parties, and we get together and we enjoy and we make memories, and it's all because of you. And we just want to give our heartfelt thanks to you for being able to provide us this opportunity to provide many free events to the community that we would otherwise not be able to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, I'd like to call up Jerry Wetzel from Centerline Jiu-Jitsu MMA. Centerline Jiu-Jitsu and MMA is located in the city of Los Alamitos and owned and operated by Mr. Jerry Wetzel, a reality-based combat expert for over 15 years. The gym offers a variety of classes and programs for all ages, including jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai kickboxing, conditioning, and a popular summer camp program. And Jerry is one of our star-level partners, and we so appreciate the partnership this last year.
usually just play a tree, so I'm not sure what words I'm going to use now. No, just if I can, very briefly, because I can be a little talky. I do it for a living. Thank you. Yeah, or just get a hook out, get the Sandman, sweep me off the stage. No, but I've been running a full-time gym for actually 22 years. I opened in 2001. For 17 of those years, I was in Bellflower. Had a lot of dealings with the city there. Meanwhile, my kids were going to school. They went to Weaver, then Oak, then to high school. My son graduated in first year in college. Now my daughter's a senior at the high school. So it was a goal to try and get here. We moved a little further, and we ended up in Long Beach. I had to deal with the city of Long Beach. If you've had to deal with them, thank you. Someone laughed. You know what I mean. All right. So it truly is a blessing. Mr. Oliver helped me get everything situated when we were opening up. We're just right here down the street. But it was very nice to finally move my business in here. I also work at the elementary schools. I'm at 5 of the 6 elementary schools in Los Alamitos teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu self-defense classes. And we've been doing free workshops for the high school college age girls, as well as we just did one for the middle school. We had 47 middle schoolers at my gym on Saturday. So any chance I have to give back to the community is quite a blessing. And we just moved in May, so I haven't even completed a full year, and I can't wait to see once I've finally settled everything in what we can do with the city. So thank you very much for the opportunity, everybody.
And a last-minute change, but they couldn't be here, but I still would like to recognize them. Is the Fairfield Inn and Suites Los Alamitos, Sam Kisher, who's the general manager. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight, but we do want to thank him for being a friend-level partner. The Fairfield Inn and Suites prides itself in offering outstanding service for an easy and comfortable stay at an exceptional value. They're located directly in the city of Los Alamitos, and they make a solid commitment to its patrons to provide courteous service, plus all the little things that are come to expected from a Fairfield 100% guarantee. So thank you to the Fairfield Inn and Suites. Next, we'd like to invite Leone Electric, Christy, and Nick from Leone Electric. As a friend-level partner, Leone Electric is family-owned and operated right here in the city of Los Alamitos since 1988 and provides businesses and homes with sustainable and affordable electrical services. Its electrical contractors provide the best customer experience with each and every repair, retrofit, and installation by integrating timeless craftsmanship with industry innovation. Next up, we would like to invite Chris Arias from Memorial Care Miller Children's and Women's Hospital, Long Beach. He's the Executive Director, Business and Community Partnerships, along with Mr. John Fay, Community Outreach Manager. The Memorial Care Miller Children's and Women's Hospital, Long Beach, are enormous supporters of our events and programs here in the city. They have sponsored various events, including Spring Carnival, Summer Concert Series, Senior Prom, Serve Los Al, Family Day, Week of Los Al, Trunk or Treat, Winter Wonderland, and our youth basketball and youth sports programs. We sincerely could not do what we do in our department without Memorial Care Miller Children's and Women's Hospital, Long Beach. And so we sincerely thank you for supporting us year after year. Thank you very much. We very much appreciate it. And I'm not sure if Matt Herrick is here from Southland Credit Union. Nope. Well, I'd like to give them a shout out as well. Southland Credit Union, Matt Herrick is the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Financial Services. They have been a premier level partner, another tremendous partnership with them. They've helped us with things like Week of Los Al, Street Fair, Bikes and Bites, Glow in the Dark Run sponsor. Our community center donation drives are sponsored by Southland Credit Union. Our youth and teen sponsors for our volunteer program, day camp, summer parks program, and our Little Oak preschool program as well. So thank you to Southland. And I promise I'm almost done. But equally important is if I'd like to invite up Jenna Tatulian from Universal Waste Systems. Jenna is the Sustainability and Compliance Manager. Universal Waste Systems is one of the largest family-owned and operated companies in Southern California. With a simple business model of keeping customers number one, UWS prides itself on excellent customer service and a hands-on management approach. They have come in huge this last year as our waste hauling provider, and in addition, they're family-friendly. They're just so very friendly. They were our title sponsor for the 4th of July Fireworks Spectacular, the title sponsor for Race Los Al, and presenting sponsor for the snow play area at Winter Wonderland. And again, we could not do our events without you, so thank you very much.
Madam Mayor and the honorable members of the council, thank you so much for this award. I have truly enjoyed spending time and working in this city. I look forward to many more years of our close partnership.
And the final group, unfortunately, also could not be here, Beach Orthopedic Specialty Institute. They came in as an advocate level partner. They were founded in 2017 by doctors Christopher Woodson and Raymond Klug. They're located right here in the city of Los Alamitos, and they provide top-notch treatment and a personal approach. And we thank them for their sponsorship last year.
It always makes its way back. Next, we have a presentation of commendations to Corporal Rodriguez and Police Officer Delgado in recognition of earning the Los Alamitos Police Department Life Saving Award. Now, the Life Saving Award is awarded to officers for taking action in order to rescue or attempt to rescue of either a fellow officer or any person from imminent danger. Now, I'm going to invite our Chief Claiborne to tell us the rest.
I can get Corporal Rodriguez and Officer Delgado to join us up in the front, please. Okay, on July 5th of 2022, the Los Alamitos Police Department, Corporal Rodriguez and Officer Delgado were dispatched to a 92-year-old female, Beatrice Najera, who was choking. Upon arrival, officers met with the female, later identified as Helen Najera, the daughter and part-time caretaker of Beatrice. Helen quickly explained to officers that her mother was choking and could not breathe. Corporal Rodriguez and Officer Delgado observed Beatrice on the floor of the residence, purple and unresponsive. Based on Helen's statements and their observations, Officer Delgado immediately picked Beatrice up from the ground and began to administer the Heimlich maneuver. Eventually, Beatrice's airway appeared to be clear, at which time Corporal Rodriguez did a sweep of her mouth. Beatrice regained her normal color and became cognizant and responsive. The Orange County Fire Authority arrived shortly thereafter and transported Beatrice to the hospital to be evaluated. Corporal Rodriguez and Officer Delgado arrived at a chaotic scene with a visibly shaken reporting party and an unresponsive person. They maintained their composure, quickly assessed the situation, and took direct life-saving measures. And for their actions, we would like to present them with this award.
We got one for each of them. Yes. So we're going to do one set of pictures, and then do we have the representatives from Michelle Steele's office? I'm sorry? Oh, she's saying good. You made me nervous, friend. Like, wait a minute. Do we have the representatives? Okay, you're doing both? Hey now. So we'll do one picture, and then we're going to bring up friend to do. Who's the daughter? I'm making your presentation.
I do
but
not
got
speak
my
as well
own.
as you. So, on behalf of Michelle Steele, U.S. Congresswoman, and Assemblymember Trita, we want to thank you both for your continued dedication to keeping us all safe and to recognize you for your heroism and, again, your bravery. So thank you both very much.
All right, next we have a presentation to Ms. Helen, a recipient of our Los Alamitos Police Department's Pink Patch Project. So the police department participated in the Pink Patch for the first time in 2022, and it helped spread awareness for breast cancer. Funds donated to help support battle against cancer and related challenges. Chief Claiborne, come on back down.
I'm actually going to delegate this one. If I could have members of the Pink Patch Committee please come forward.
I'm back. Good evening. Welcome, everybody. Let me start off by introducing the members of the committee. We got Craig Kohler, Finance Director for the City of Los Alamitos. The Department Secretary of Recreation, Trini Sepka. Community Development, Linda Karras. Owner of Print Masters, Nessie Stewart. Nisi. The Department Secretary of Los Alamitos Police Department, Ms. Veronica Wilson. And myself, Corporal Rodriguez. I want to start off by giving a special thanks to our sponsors. Without them, none of this would be possible. Owner of Subway, located in Cerritos and the Boulevard, Mark Hernandez. Owner of Green Street Interiors, Judy Clabo. Los Alamitos resident and Board of Directors of Special Life Shelter, Wendy Gross. And again, Ms. Nisi Stewart. Thank you all for your support. I would like to briefly share a history of our department, Pink Patch Project, for those who are not aware of what it is. This is our department's first ever Pink Patch Project. Thank you to our Chief Claiborne for your vision and effort to make this inception of this project possible. Our committee sold patches at community events throughout social media and our PD front counter, raising a total of $4,000 in our first year. Tonight, our committee would like to honor two women who live in Los Alamitos who have personally battled breast cancer. And our Pink Patch proceeds will go directly to them. First, Ms. Marie Kane, who is currently receiving chemotherapy for her cancer. Unfortunately, she cannot be here with us today. We got this check for her.
This is from Ms. Helen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second will be Ms. Helen Akashi. Please come up. I'm going to read a brief bio for Ms. Akashi. Helen and her husband moved into Los Alamitos 31 years ago. They started a family and had two daughters who both attended Los Alamitos schools. Since then, both have graduated from college and are working professionals in the city of Los Angeles and Costa Mesa. For Helen, Los Alamitos is a peaceful place for taking her long walks around the neighborhood with her golden retriever, Koa.
Helen's breast cancer journey started 24 years ago when she felt a small pebble-sized lump and decided to have it examined. She was shocked to find out that it was breast cancer. Her worry at that time was caring for her 3- and 6-year-old daughters. Treatment was a challenging experience which included surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, then another round of chemotherapy. After surviving 8 months of treatment, she was cancer-free. Fast forward to June 2022. At her annual mammogram, a small mass was found. She had an ultrasound and biopsy performed. A week later, Helen received unexpected news that her cancer had returned after 23 years of being in remission. Her first thought was, I beat this once, I know I can beat it again. Having gone through it before, knowing the cancer is treatable, she was ready to begin the journey again. She received 11 weeks of chemotherapy and then had surgery. The most comforting part of her cancer journey at this time was around not worrying about her 3- and 6-year-old daughters. This time they were support at work, comforting and helping her each step of the way. In addition, she had an amazing team of doctors. Dr. Maria Dungo, Dr. Jessica Rehambad, especially the oncologist, nurses, and staff that took such wonderful care of her. Helen is happy to report that she is cancer-free again. Helen wants to thank Chief Michael Claiborne for the Los Alamitos Police Department for initiating this Pink Patch project. She is grateful and proud that our police department is supporting this project and bringing awareness towards the fight against breast cancer in our community. Ms. Akashi, would you like to say something?
Thank you very much. I'm so proud to be part of this community and to have the police department support such a great, breast cancer research and getting donations and bringing education towards the community. So thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yep, that's all right. Let's just scoot in.
We'll just keep rolling right along. Okay, so the next one is a presentation to Reserve Officer Dave Dorrance in recognition of his 31 years of service to the city of Los Alamitos. Now, I got some bullet points here that I could read, but I think what is more powerful than that is what my husband told me about Mr. Dorrance. He's like, you know what, that was my school resource officer. And you were his first interactions positive with law enforcement. And for that, I thank you. A boy from Compton, his first interactions were with you. And it shaped the landscape of how he would look at law enforcement for the rest of his life. So from my heart, thank you. Now, Claiborne, come get the mic. Come on.
Okay, Officer Dave Dorrance grew up and attended school in Long Beach, California. He attended Long Beach City College and transferred to the University of Redlands, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts degree. Officer Dorrance received his master's degree from California State Long Beach in 1976. He taught and coached football in high school and coached at a community college in the San Gabriel Valley for 20 years. In 1986, he became the Dean of Students at Los Alamitos High School, being responsible for attendance and discipline. In 1990, he was appointed to assistant principal in charge of student services. Officer Dorns graduated from the Orange County Sheriff's Reserve Academy in May of '97. He worked as a reserve officer in a small community in Kern County for 2 years. He then became a technical reserve for the Los Alamitos Police Department in 1992. Eventually, Officer Dorns' status with the department changed when he became a sworn reserve officer. He fulfilled his obligation to the reserve program by working extra assignments and community events such as the Los Alamitos 5K and 10K races, St. Hedwig's Autumn Fest, the 4th of July spectacular shows at the Joint Forces Training Base, as well as his regular patrol assignments. Dave's most recent assignments include being a range master and the red light photo enforcement detail. He has a long-standing relationship as a liaison between the police department and the educational community, which fosters direct communication and networking to solve problems. As a direct result, Dave represented the police department during the school attendance review board meetings with stakeholders from the police department, the Los Alamitos Unified School District, and respective students and their families. Dave was selected as Police Employee of the Year in 2003 and 2006. He has earned the respect of the police department personnel, and his consistent demonstration of professionalism, his helpful attitude, and his commitment to this department will be missed. Dave and his wife Bonnie love to travel. They have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. We wish Dave all the best as he embarks on the next chapter of being fully retired. Thank you. In tradition of law enforcement, is there anyone else who would like to come up and say a few words?
Hello, everybody. I'll make this quick. My name is Josiah Dobie. This is my lovely wife. But the reason why I came tonight was to support and to further add along to what the mayor was saying, is that coming from Compton, we never saw a lot of different color, and most of the time it was in a negative light. But if I was to describe Mr. Dorn, it would be fierce, it would be fair, and it would be friendly. Fierce because anytime anything went down on campus, he was right behind whoever it was, right? He was fair because I had one altercation there, and he didn't judge me. He asked me what happened, and he was fair, but also he was still fierce and firm. And then the last one, friendly, is he really cared about me. He asked me how my day was going outside of football. And so he did shape my opinion on not only what police officer should be, but also what a man stands for. And I just want to thank you for that. So I salute you as an officer, and I thank you as a friend.
Yeah, come to the middle, friend. Come to the middle. Wait, did you want to say anything? Okay. Next, we have a presentation to Reserve Officer Harry Whitted in recognition of his 39 years of service to the city of Los Alamitos. Come on down.
Officer Harry Whitted was born in Glendale, California. He grew up in the San Fernando Valley and attended Pierce Community College. In 1965, Harry joined the United States Marine Corps with his last year with his last year serving a tour of duty in Vietnam. After his honorable discharge, Harry began his career with TRW Defense and Space Systems in Redondo Beach, where he worked until retirement in 2002. While working at TRW, Harry went through the South Bay Regional Reserve Academy at El Camino College in Torrance, from which he graduated in January of 1984. Harry was sworn in as a Los Alamitos Reserve Officer on April 16, 1984. With his valuable contributions to the department, Harry has been honored as Employee of the Month in December of 1990 and 1994, Reserve Officer of the Year in 1987, and Police Employee of the Year in 2006 and 2008. He received a certificate of recognition from the Los Alamitos Police Chief Jim Guess in May of 1992 for his participation in a mutual aid request from the Los Angeles Police Department as they dealt with civil unrest, riot and fire control, and suppression of violence. In 2005, Harry became an inaugural member of the Red Light Photo Enforcement Team. As the complexities of this unique enforcement activity evolved, Harry facilitated the establishment of protocols and coordination with the legal system. He has established a stellar reputation for his knowledge of the intricacies of photo enforcement and for being meticulously prepared in the courtroom. His expertise proved invaluable in managing the red light photo enforcement program with vendors and engineers. Harry is a mainstay of the program. Harry's dependability, consistency, and commitment are words that define him throughout his 39-year-long career with the Los Alamitos Police Department. For these reasons, he will truly be missed. Harry and his wife, Sue, have a grown daughter, Julie. We wish Harry all the best in retirement.
Gotta get a picture. There.
Oh.
Oh, you're not done?
One last thing, is there anyone else who would like to come forward and say anything? Going once? Going twice? All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, so for this next set of presentations, the rest of my friends can have a seat. I can, oh, yes. I get to sit too. Oh dear, okay. Okay, I didn't, they're making a presentation. Oh, okay. Oh, bye. Got it. I have to highlight that next time for myself. It's a learning process. Right. Can't deal with that right now. Chuck. Was I supposed to do something? No, just wait till the clears. 3 minutes. That's deep. Oh my God. That's deep.
So basically, before your terms, you look back and say, you look back. Yes. It's always one big difference.
Oh yeah.
Do you listen to podcasts?
I should start.
I got a good one for you.
Send it to me. Yeah, I should start.
Publishes every Thursday. Biblical Wednesday. I'll send you her.
They're so sunny outside.
Am I supposed to do something? What I'm supposed to do?
You're on G, so you're gonna invite
Oh.
yourself to do the presentation.
Okay. Can we shut the door in the back again? Okay, we're gonna move on to item G, and then we're gonna have somebody close the door in the back just to help us hear what's happening, because we have some more exciting things on our agenda for this evening. And then I would like for Sergeant Krogman and School Resource Officer Brucky to come on down.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Marvelous.
Wow.
Officer Brucky couldn't be here because of child care issues, but I will handle it. Currently, I'm the traffic sergeant for the police department, obviously. And I'm here to talk about e-bicycles, which over the past several years, we've all seen an increase in students and other people riding them through our city. And what I've seen over the past couple years is terrifying. We have kids that are riding e-bikes without helmets. They're running stop signs, running red lights, weaving in and out of traffic, which we all know after school, especially Oak Middle School, it's very congested with vehicular traffic, and we've had some accidents involving kids with their e-bikes. So what we have done, us as the police department, we teamed up with the Los Alamitos Unified School District, and we came up with a plan on how to tackle a lot of the issues that we were seeing and kids going against what the vehicle code says and whatnot. So we came up with a plan. We came up with a PowerPoint presentation that we offered kids from McAuliffe and Oak Middle School so far, and we plan on doing it with the high school kids as well. We've taught 2 classes. First one was January 11th and then January 18th. It's an hour-long educational process on the rules of the roadway that the kids need to follow while they're riding their e-bikes. We had an attendance of 95 kids the first class, and 25 kids the second class. And this ranged from kids that were already riding e-bikes, or they are in the process of buying one, or actually their parents buying one because they're expensive. So we've seen a good feedback with it. So the school district, their main thing was they didn't want the kids riding e-bikes unless they took this class. So now that they have taken the class and passed the class, each kid was given a sticker to place on their e-bikes indicating that they have taken this class and they're able to ride these onto campus. Into the future, we're looking at still doing some classes, maybe from the beginning of the school year and after Christmas, when a lot more kids could be buying them or getting them from their parents. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update of what we're doing as a police department to tackle a lot of the issues that we're seeing out there. Now that these kids have taken the class, my plan is we have implemented a bicycle team within the police department. So we're going to have select days where they go out and enforce the laws regarding the e-bikes. It's going to be random. The kids are not going to know. So we're going to be doing that, and then obviously our regular patrols that we do on, throughout the day and stuff like that. If you guys have any questions, I can kind of help you out with that.
Just a quick comment. I just want to thank you guys for developing this program. We all realize it's not the complete solution, but it's a huge step in the right direction. It's bringing in all of the stakeholders, including the kids, the parents, the police department and the school district, and everybody has a responsibility, which is nice because no one entity can solve it on their own. So I appreciate the efforts that are making for, and just shows the community partnership that we have with Seal Beach, with Rossmore, with the city, all of the police departments, the sheriff, and also the school district. So I just think that's kudos to you guys. The feedback that I'm getting from the community is like, wow, this is huge, because they don't see other cities doing this. They just complain about it. So thank you for coming up with the solution in step one of many, I'm sure.
You're welcome. And it has, a lot of people are getting to know it, especially last class we had Spectrum News out there actually filming and asking our officers questions, and actually the students and stuff like that. So it is growing. I think we're pioneering something different, and it's going to catch on with a lot of the other school districts around the Orange County.
And that's the stuff we want to be in the news about.
Exactly.
You know?
I also want to make a comment. Both my children have e-bikes, and they both were there in attendance on the first day. And I just want to say that it has been extremely beneficial, especially, I don't know if you are aware, but my son was just recently hit by a vehicle. And due to the fact that he did take the class, because usually he does have his earphones in, but from the class he learned you only keep one in if it's necessary or not. So I just want to say that it has been extremely beneficial, at least for my children, and I know that it's going to be tremendous for other children. So thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully your son is doing okay.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Anybody else want to say, share? Good? Okay. Thank you. And tell other friend we said thank you, even though he couldn't be here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Alrighty, and it looks like now we have a presentation by Division Chief Craig from the OCFA regarding lithium-ion battery hazards.
All right, thank you, Mayor Doby and council and all the community that's here tonight. I'd like to bring something forward. It's kind of trails along with this e-bike discussion. I presented what's been going on that is a serious hazard, public safety hazard to the community, to your city manager, Simmons. And when I presented to him, it was alarming to him. I feel that most of you are going to feel the same way when we're done with this presentation. So we thought it was valuable time to bring in your evening tonight and make this presentation. I'll let a lot of it speak for itself, really, as we start here. With Christmas coming around and many people having the fortune of getting new e-bikes or other toys, hobbies, things like that are electric powered, this presentation will bring some awareness to you if you were not aware of it previously. So if pictures are worth 1,000 words, take a look at this video. That was a pop of a sound.
Oh my God.
That was 3.4 seconds from the time it started failing to complete catastrophic failure. That's one of the hazards that the new lithium-ion battery push is bringing to the public. These are fireworks going off in people's houses, and we're seeing a tremendous increase in what is occurring. So what are lithium-ion batteries? Most of us are pretty comfortable and confident in seeing these. These are very stable and not really an issue unless they get wet in water, like anything, but very common used and not a huge problem for us, with the exception of that little guy on the left. I think we're all pretty familiar with the CR1220 battery. It's in a lot of different devices like vape pens and things like that. We are seeing issues with those type of batteries failing, and they'll have similar type of power, but not to the size of the scooter that you just saw. So here's a video demonstrating vape pens exploding. E-cigs, vape pens. So these are blown up in people's pockets and purses and things like that. I know a Garden Grove employee who had one blow up and his pants burned up and his legs was, really badly injured. Those are vape pens with that small device, and that's the type of reaction that they can do. So as we move into the bigger batteries, Tesla was obviously at the forefront of the battery development for cars. And that battery on the left there is the 18650 battery, and it was developed in 2005 by Tesla. It's the most common lithium-ion battery used anywhere from the scooters and bicycles, electric drills, cordless drills, all the way up to cars, and the multiple different types of electric cars. So they were the forefront of them. The difference is in a vehicle, there's 3,000 to 7,000 of those batteries. As like anything, as time progresses and competition goes, those other batteries that you see are the prismatic battery, and other ones are batteries that competition has made. For our purposes, for the fire service purposes, they all react the same way when they fail, and with those violent results that you saw. So what makes these batteries different is, number one, they don't need oxygen. They'll destroy themselves without oxygen, which also makes them very difficult to put out. It takes a tremendous amount of water. When they do fail, they fail violently, as you saw. The other issue we're having is that we think we have them put out, and they will keep reigniting. This slide I have right here was something I grabbed off a video that I had. Anywhere from 7 days to 2 and 3 weeks, batteries will reignite and have this thermal runaway, and we'll have to go back on them again. So the other issue that's more personal to the fire service is the smoke that comes out of these. It's a fluorine gas, without getting into the chemistry of it, but is incredibly, incredibly toxic. It's described as bone eating. And from the fire service side, our current protective gear does not protect us from it. So it's an issue we're facing. We've had a firefighter already get retired off with medical issues resulting from an exposure at a fire in Westminster. A bunch of batteries that went up at a commercial building, because instead of generators, they're using battery storage backups. So they become an issue with us as well. So the most common thing that we see, your residents are getting, like you just talked about the children riding the e-bikes around schools and stuff. So scooters and e-bikes and all that, those batteries are in them. What you saw in that first video was an e-bike scooter like this, and they have the batteries, just not as many as a Tesla, but they have quite a few. So we'll watch this video here. This poor gentleman is at home, and this occurs. What we normally do, we all gonna run and get some water, right? We're gonna try to put this thing out. And fortunately, as he comes back, he falls, because as this thing explodes, that's 2,000 degree metal, molten metal, flying on him. So it was actually a blessing that he fell, if you could think of something like that. But with the advent of cameras and everything else, we're seeing more videos like this become available. I was made aware of this about 8 to 10 years ago, about a fire in Santa Margarita, where for some reason the resident had a camera in the garage, and we watched a battery charger for a cordless drill explode and fail like this, eventually ultimately consuming the garage, but it was all caught on video. That was my first awareness to it, and since then, as society is going more to these an electric type of lifestyle, we're seeing more and more of these type of incidents. So when I talk about electric vehicles, I'm not standing or sitting in front of you saying that Teslas are bad, right? We have plenty of car fires and internal combustion engines. Okay, so they're prone to fail just like a Tesla or an electric vehicle is. From the fire service side, the issue for us is trying to put them out. With 3,000 to 7,000 batteries in there that are encased in the framework of the car, it's very difficult for us to put out. We're making recommendations now 4 tow companies to keep these cars separated in the yard so that if they reignite, they don't cause issues. This example here is in Sacramento. The car kept reigniting. 3 weeks later, it caught on fire again. So they finally dug a ditch, put the car in water, and soaked it for 24 hours to eventually get this out. In Europe, and I believe some American cities, they're bringing out rollout dumpsters like this where they can put the car inside it and then submerge it in water and soak it for 24 hours as the fire service is trying to figure out how to adjust and deal with our tactics and strategy and ensuring these vehicles are fully out. I had a pallet of drone batteries, a fire down in Irvine. That pallet reignited 7 times while we were still on scene. A little interesting side note from the recent hurricane down in Naples, Florida, Hurricane Ian. They had a half a dozen Teslas catch on fire down there. That was documented because the vehicles have been submerged in salt water, and that salt water corroded the batteries and ended up causing these vehicles to catch on fire. In New York, who's doing a better job of tracking these, it's really becoming more aware of it to us on the West Coast. I've initiated a tracking campaign at OCFA, but in New York, they're really starting to pay attention to this and having some significant increases in fires. This is an example of one. They just had a fire on my newsfeed that came up last week where their entire evidence warehouse was destroyed. An evidence warehouse for the New York Fire or Police Department, the size of a city block. I mean, it was a huge one. They lost the entire thing because of an e-bike that blew up inside the warehouse. So they're tracking statistics better than we are, but you can see in here they talk about what we saw in the video, how they'll explode and shoot stuff as far as 60 feet and cause fires around it. This is some examples, video examples of e-bikes blowing up. As you see in this one, you try to put it out, and an ordinary hose, it just takes a tremendous amount of water to cool it down and put it out. I've seen videos of laptops, cell phones, and things like that additionally failing and causing these fires. Around the world, they're starting to track it as well. China, who has been using these type of batteries much longer than America has reported 10,000 e-bike fires alone in that country. New York, London, things like that are also reporting incredible increases in the amount of fires that they've had. New York alone has a 230% increase in the last year, including 6 deaths amongst all the injuries and everything else. This photo right here is a fire I had just before I promoted, and it was caused by a hobby drone battery being charged in the gentleman's bedroom and ended up destroying a big chunk of the house before we were able to put it out. So what's our recommendations from OCFA and the fire service? One, don't buy the cheaper products. Okay, when the cheaper product, you think you're saving money, but they're, in my research of this subject, they're not made in clean rooms. Okay, so if the battery's made in poor environments, it'll get dust particles and things inside the battery, which will make it more prone to failure. It does not need to be plugged in. These things can go off on their own if they degrade and to a point that they fail. Now, majority of them are being overcharged. So our recommendation is A, buy the better quality stuff. Don't buy the knockoff stuff. Use only the stuff that's provided with it to charge it properly. When you're done charging it, unplug it. Quit leaving your stuff plugged in, okay? That's probably the best advice I can give you and your city, your residents, is to do that stuff. If you notice any kind of smells, odors, hiccups, anything in the battery, take it out of service, get it out of your house, don't use it, get it repaired by proper technicians, okay? Do not throw these things away. We can be burning up dump trucks and everything, or not, trash trucks with these things being properly thrown away. So really use the right products, to use it, and it designed and came with. Don't buy the cheap stuff. And if there's any smells, odors, sounds, stop using it. Okay. All this information's been made available to your city staff to put out on your social media stuff, as well as it can be found at ocfa.org for further details on what you can do to protect yourself. And in closing, you can see this is a bike down in Newport Beach that down by the wedge that just caught on fire on the beach, not being plugged in, not being used, and it just caught on fire. So hopefully that sheds some light on this new public safety issue that we're facing. And if you have any questions, I'm available.
I need a minute.
I have a couple questions.
Please.
Chief Covey, you said that it takes a tremendous amount of fire to put tremendous amount of water to put these fires out. And obviously, if it's a big explosion, you're not standing there trying to take it out. You're hopefully running as fast as you can. But on the smaller ones, is there a better way? I know with grease fires, you don't add water, you cover it. Is there a better way to extinguish the smaller fires?
Well, you saw what they were trying to do, and you see the violence of the reaction. My recommendation is you evacuate.
Just run.
Get out of the area, call 911, and get us coming.
Okay. And then also, Chet, is there a way that we can offer our residents maybe a drop-off location for lithium batteries as opposed to just the once-in-a-while e-waste?
I think that's something that we definitely can work on. I'd like to actually talk to the chief a little bit more about what exactly would be a safe container to actually be able to put house these in. Once we're able to determine that, we'll bring it back to the council.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, well, my question is for Chief Claiborne. Since we're doing the presentations on the e-bikes, is there a way, if y'all are already doing it, then forgive me, but to incorporate what the information that we just got about the battery and the care and all of that for bikes and scooters specifically? Yeah. And then, Ms. Wendy, do we have a link? I know that they provided the information to our social media, but can we add the link to OCFA also to our website? Okay. You blew my whole mind.
Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's
Now I'm
certainly-
thinking, what's in my house that got these batteries?
That's the usual reaction I've been having for the four cities that I serve as the division chief. That's been the reaction to every one of them. The mayor was immediately texting his associate or assistant with, "Hey, go unplug my 4 scooters in my office right now." So it is definitely adjusted the way I operate at home. I don't leave anything plugged in anymore, and I really encourage the same.
Yeah, we have to spread that message too. Because I think a lot of people, oh, my iPhone's charged, but I'm not using it. Leave it on the charger. Unplug it. On it. Unplugging. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Another moment to recover. All right. Okay, we're going to move to oral communications. At this time, any individual in the audience may come forward to speak on any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. How many speakers? Oh, we have speaker cards. All right. All right. We got, was this 5 or 3?
Those are only the cards that we received so far.
5 or 3? 3.
Oh, it's up to council.
3. Okay. We got quite a few here, and just in the interest of keeping everybody getting home at a reasonable hour, can we make a consensus 3 minutes for sharing? Anybody opposed to that?
No.
Okay. All righty. And then I would like also to ask, my first friend is already up, if you have not filled out a speaker card, if you could, and we have the sign-up sheet that's up there, or just fill out the sign-in sheet because we want to keep track of who's coming to share with us so that we can follow up if we have additional questions. Okay? All righty.
Okay, where's the speaker card to sign up afterwards?
Right in front of
Okay, because it wasn't available before.
Well, I apologize, but there should be a
okay.
sheet right there so that you can sign in, Fran.
My name is Christine Arfwetson. I've lived in Los Alamitos for 26 years. I voted for you, Ms. Hilbrand. Hibbard, thanks for being a public servant. I appreciate you being on the City Council. My request of you is that I know you're new, and you're getting all kinds of input, I'm sure, about how to stay in your lane and how to think about things, and all till you get your feet on the ground. However, we need to have your feet on the ground.
Point of order, please.
Right now.
I'm sorry. They're not supposed to be addressing individual council members, correct?
They're free to make their statements, but what can't happen is have this devolve into a back and forth between individual members and speakers.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
The back and forth is a choice. It's not, the Brown Act doesn't require that. That's you all's choice. I'm speaking about 12A that you, or 12.1 that you pulled at the last minute. It may have been under progress for a year and a half, as our city manager said. Most of us were not aware of it because the notification was 500 feet of the project. Do you know how short 500 feet is? So most people didn't know. This project is so dense. I live in Parkwood. It's 12 acres. The Lampson project, 12 acres. We have 102 patio homes with visitor parking and resident parking. This project has complete inappropriate, incomplete parking, but 246 units, 2 acres donated by the developers to another developers to build 3-story apartment buildings for the affordable housing. And I say, really? So we're going to have carports and 1.1 parking space for each resident that are 2 and 3 bedrooms? Does that sound adequate to you? And I heard Tom Oliver explain the state doesn't care about parking, but you all have to care about it, okay? And my request is that if we're going to have affordable housing, let's give these people something worth having. Don't have all of the 10 acres left of luxurious patio homes and townhouses. So developers, what do they want? Money. What do their investors want? Money. And what do they bring to us? Is this a livable project? So my request of you all on the board, look very carefully at this project where you can't even turn eastbound out of it, which potentiates innumerable U-turns that are the most dangerous in there. So I say, if you won't bring your family there to live, then make sure the developers make something livable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want me to sign this?
Yes, please. Thank you. I believe this says Kaya. Forgive me, I usually have someone that can tell me how to pronounce the name, so if I mispronounce your name, feel free to say it again for me when you get to the mic. But Kaya? I have a Kaya? Once, twice? Okay. Patty? Is Patty here?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I would like to commend you on delaying the Lampson project. It was appropriate. However, just a couple weeks is not sufficient. We need several months. And I can tell you this project is way too large for our College Park East. The lack of parking is shocking. And you would not want to live next to a project like this. If this was in your own area to dump this amount of housing with not enough parking, you would also be deeply concerned. The outreach that has taken place is deficient, okay? The 500 feet notice was just mentioned. We didn't get sufficient notice, and furthermore, all the outreach is done during the holiday period, when people are very, very busy and not paying attention. So the deficiency in the outreach and notifying the communities is shockingly bad, and that needs to be redone. The Planning Commission didn't answer questions. This should go back to the Planning Commission for more discussion. This is a LoSal project that's being dumped on my community. and we need to have a voice in this, and we're not being listened to. The congestion this will create on Seal Beach Boulevard, it's going to be the new 405A, okay? Valley View is super busy now with all the housing on Catella and Cypress. Valley View is heavily congested. Seal Beach is already congested. And you're creating, if this goes through, a big public safety issue for us. We are concerned about the delays in police, fire, and if we need an ambulance getting into our track. Where we live on Lampson, there's one way in and one way out. It's Lampson. We either use Seal Beach Boulevard or Valley View. We are right sandwiched between all the congestion, and we are deeply concerned, and we want your study to guarantee us our public safety times will not be increased. Additionally, getting the public responders over to the 405 freeway, again, you're going to have these roads so congested we can't even get the fire and the first paramedics and so forth onto the freeway. So we're asking for this project not only be delayed, but it should be delayed with meaningful delay and discussion with the community. To dump a project of this size on our community, it's not appropriate. It might solve the needs for LaSalle, but you're passing it over to Seal Beach. And by the way, how do you consciously put a project forward that has no street access? They're using a Seal Beach street to get into this project, and all we get is congestion and more public, lack of public safety, or more public safety issues for us. So we are deeply concerned, and we ask that you hear us, listen to us, scale this thing back, and let us have a voice in the process. We are not being listened to, and we would appreciate that. So again, I thank you for your time, and again, I think more delay than 2 weeks is appropriate here for us to have a good discussion and a collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Jennifer G.
All right. I just want to say thank you again as well for pulling the agenda item 12. I think that you guys are right on doing that, just as Patty said, that we definitely need more time, and more than weeks, we need months. I am also concerned about the traffic and public safety on a street that has already had 8 fatalities. I'm also concerned about how the developers' trucks are going to be traveling in the process of building this. Like it was mentioned before about the U-turn on Heather Street. They're going to end up making a left on Heather, a left on Hazelnut, which is my street, where my children are playing outside, and a bunch of the neighbors' children, and then they're going to make a left on Rose to go towards Garden Grove, because there is no possible way to turn left out of this development. And then after the development is built, we're going to encounter the same problem with the residents doing the same thing, which again, it's increased traffic on a residential street, my street, where my children are, and I'm just very concerned resident. So I think there's much more time that's needed to do the research on the public safety and traffic safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think this says Carol Churchill. Carol? Is this Carol? No? Churchill? Last name? No? Okay. All right, Dan Brandt? Dan, okay.
Good evening. Thank you again for delaying the vote. There was about 100 people here earlier. I know we pulled the item, so thank you for doing that. Like some speakers said, hope this is months, not weeks. Because as we've seen, there's a lot of Los Alamitos residents who are recently getting concerned because they're understanding the information out there. Trust me, I've been in city government. You put a notice out, everybody goes, whatever, throw it in the trash. Now they're understanding what's going on and how it's going to impact them. And what's going to impact, I worked for the city of Los Alamitos for 23 years, so I know these streets in the back of my hand. And the idea is that I moved back to this city because I knew how safe it was. We're talking about a community that's, I know it's Los Alamitos, but this is, the school district is Los Alamitos, Seal Beach, and Rossmore, right? We rely on each other. We do it as a school district, okay? And I'm gonna get into it, because this isn't just about you guys, and I know where you guys are coming from about this project. But I'm gonna say that these high density projects, I understand we're looking at the housing element, okay? That's a state thing. But at the same time, we can be thoughtful about it. And I know you guys are also concerned about Seal Beach's projects, because, and they're housing them at 400 units, which is going to end up behind Sprouts, just like the gym almost was there, right? We're talking about the Old Ranch project. I'm very familiar because when we're done with this, I know Seal Beach is watching. There's going to be 200 people at their council meetings. Okay, we're going to be fighting them because we understand that you guys, at the same time, there's kind of a rush to get something in before it gets worse and you guys aren't involved. So we need to fight each project at a time, okay? Because we know that this project, 264 units, I wouldn't want to live there. It's going to have impacts on neighborhoods. It's going to have impacts on Seal Beach Boulevard. Old Ranch project's going to have impacts. If we approve this the way it is, it's going to be a domino effect. You guys are going to be the first to knock the domino down, then Seal Beach is going to have what they're going to want, right? They're going to have the ones behind Sprouts. They're going to have the Old Ranch project, which is a hotel, 150, 50 rooms. It's going to be 115 apartments. It's going to be a 3-story parking structure, 50 senior, 25,000 medical, square feet. We understand, like I said, we're going to fight this because this is going to change Seal Beach Boulevard. And the unique thing about where we're at is we have the base, right? So the state has this, one-size-fits-all approach, right? Lose local control. Well, they don't realize that there's no cut-throughs in the base. It's 2 miles basically square. So if an emergency vehicle, and I have experience with this, a fire truck needs to get through and Seal Beach Boulevard is impassable, what do you think is going to happen? You guys are also going to have delays because all of our fire trucks are either on Green Street or they're down, by the 405. So when they need to try to get there, that's a delayed response, okay? Also, the same with, we live off mutual aid, okay? It's going to be delayed. I'm going to tell you there's a lot of different people that are involved in this. One thing I wanted to mention real quick is I know that we have a lot of parties. It's about money. And I'm actually very disappointed in their superintendent that wrote a letter of saying that he likes this project, right? Without the thoughts of our kids, they might be safe at school just to get more bodies in the chairs. I'm actually, that's really disappointing to me because we should think about thoughtful projects. We should bring this down to an R2 level and I'm not against development. We're not against development. Okay. Let's bring it down. Let's think about something that's thoughtful. So I hope that you guys will delay it longer, reach out to Los Alamitos more, and thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, and then I have a card for Jeff Smith. Oh, that's not Jeff, okay.
Thank you for delaying the vote. So I'm here in hopes to just reiterate what everybody else is reiterating, and that is to deny when the time comes the rezoning of the area off Lampson. I do understand that you guys have a job to do and that you guys are receiving a lot of pressure from the state. If a complete denial isn't able to be done, I would highly suggest moving to an R2. I think that would make the project a lot more palatable for the neighbors that will be most affected. And then also the developers wouldn't be able to do any change orders to potentially have even more housing, which would have a bigger impact. I don't want to reiterate what everybody else has already said just because you guys have already heard it, but I'm going to focus a little bit more on some numbers, but also the impact of those numbers. So on the low-income housing side, which is the side closest to Heather Street and Heather Park, there's 77 units supposed to be going in there, as the developers have said, of 1 to 3 bedrooms. And how that works is it's two people per bedroom plus 1. So for 3 bedrooms, 7 allowable. So that just, more people can potentially go in, but that would be not allowable. So there's only 98 parking spots for those 77 units. You can't park on Lampson. Where do you think those people are going to park? They're going to park off of Heather Street, which is where my kids and my family lives, and a lot of other families behind me, their kids live, and they play in the streets like hockey, they ride their bikes, skateboard. That's something you can't do at the park there. So I'm worried about the overflow because it's grossly under represented, the amount of parking spots. They're going to park in our neighborhoods, and they're going to be looking for spots because they don't want to have to walk 200 yards to their house. So they're looking left and right, and guess who's in the street? My kids, when they're looking left and right, and other kids that are in the neighborhood. So the safety issue is paramount for me. And I know, I'm sure all you guys have kids and, you know, family members, things like that. Safety is number one. So when the vote does come, I do hope you guys deny it. If that's not possible, please, let's have it be established as an R2 because those parameters, I think we feel more comfortable with. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Now, was there anyone else present that wanted to come up and speak? My only request is that you please sign in for me up at the podium. Come on down.
My name is Ricardo Ortiz, Captain, retired Los Angeles City Fire Department. Born and raised in Los Angeles, South Central. Regarding this project that's going on over here in Lampson, a lot of people aren't aware that when President Obama was president, he passed a Section 8 housing where every city will take account of the various ethnic groups. And from those groups, new construction will be 10% affordable. Affordable is not conducive, with exceptions, to a nice community. I've experienced that. And as a result, my understanding over here with this huge density you have coming over here on Lampson, that's only one project you have here. There's other lots, property here in Los Alamitos that haven't come up yet. But this development over here is quite dense. You have a lot of houses, and you have these 2-3-story apartments. And as a result, you have a lot of problems. In affordable housing, you have 10%. Depending on the people there, in a matter of time, it doesn't become 10%. It becomes 100% because the 90% is not going to stand for the 10%, and they move out. As a result, it's like having dichondra, and then you get the devil grass in there. Pretty soon, it's all devil grass. And as a result, you have a different community. I've lived here since 1962, and this has been an outstanding community, especially the fire and police. You call the police, and they are there now. Rossmore doesn't have that priority. They call the police, and they're there 20 minutes later, or maybe a half an hour later. As a result, my compliments to you, Chief, and your policemen. Thank you.
Thank you. I still see faces, so I assume that somebody else wants to come up. But if I'm wrong, I will take that. Oh, come on down.
Good evening. Thank you, everyone. I just want to, my name is Dr. Papulias. I've been here a few times. I've spoken on my concern for the Lampson project and the proposal that has been put forward. But I want to stand up here and kind of reiterate what a lot of people have said. Some of you have kids, some of you don't. And I know Councilmember Murphy, I believe, just shared the story earlier about how her child was hit on one of the e-bikes. I can't even imagine what I would go through if something like that happened to my child. With what is happening here, this is exactly what will happen. You are going to increase a lot of accidents happening. There's a curve on Lampson between Candleberry and Heather. Are any of you, I mean, this is going to be a rhetorical question, I know you guys can't answer, but are any of you familiar with the nickname of that turn? It's on Lampson, it just curves. It's called Dead Man's Curve. I believe one of the earlier speakers spoke on there were 8 deaths there. So what I would like you guys and urge you to do is to communicate with Seal Beach. Seal Beach has offered a rezoning at the Rossmore Center for 400 units. 200 units at Target. You have 150 hotel space at the Country Club, in addition with apartments, in addition with senior housing, plus the Lampson project. That is 1,170 units within a 1.5-mile radius. What the earlier gentleman said about the parking situation, which are again, sarcasm, wonderful Governor Newsom has changed the parking ratio to 1.1 per unit. That is 3,000 plus cars within a 1.5 radius. If my son is injured for something happening, a driver coming off, whatever it might be, and we can't have local authorities come in time due to traffic, that is going to really turn me off for being in that area. Whether or not you want to listen to a lot of people here or not, it's really up to me. I've heard rumors, people already have their minds made up. But this is not something that I can stand for as a resident here. I worked very hard to come into that community. I work at 5 universities. I have a restaurant. And I do a lot of other side hustles, quote unquote, just to pay my mortgage to live in that area. And the fact of the matter is, I love where I live. I love my police. I love my firefighters. So for those people to have the access to where I live makes me feel safe knowing where I'm at. And a lot of you don't, I'm not sure if you heard about the murder that happened the other night in College Park East. Well, when that person was called up by someone, a resident, the police were in there within minutes to help. And that is a community I want to live in because the police can be there to protect us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Come on down.
I'm Derek Boyer, and I've also, like Dr. Papoulias and Dan, I've spoken here and the Planning Commission about water. I've been the water guy. And, you know, and I understand that that's the elephant in the room that no one wants to speak about. Obviously, if there isn't some rule that says that developments can't happen, no matter how much it's at odds with water. If I do speak for everyone that's given us myriad reasons to care about how this project should be resized, even if it can't be shut down, zoning it to R2 makes some sane sense as far as my sense of the project can be. But I've spoken with a couple of people who, in decades, over the decades of the history of this city, have been in closer contact with the inner circle, you council people. And what I was told was that if we sit here politely and we say, well, you know, like Dan says, we implore you, and I say, I beg of you, and we politely just sit here and, you know, make every reason in the world for you guys to rethink this project, and then you don't answer our questions, you don't go through a process where there is a back and a forth, then I feel like it's just falling on deaf ears. That's really how I feel. And I just wanted to speak about that. That's how I feel. I feel like it's falling on deaf ears. And what I was told by those people, and I don't want to throw names under the bus, but that were in closer contact with how things work at the city council, I was told, get thousands of more people, get signs, make lots of noise. So I work as a college professor. I have 3-4 days a week I need to be at Orange Coast College, you know, but maybe I need to spend my spare time getting as many of these people to just make noise. And Seal Beach, for that matter, you know, I understand I'm not a resident of Seal Beach. I'm not a resident of Los Alamitos, but I'm here and I'll be at the Seal Beach City Council meetings to promise you guys that we'll continue this drumbeat. You need to deal with us in a way that it's not one-sided. That's how it feels. That's how it's being handled. We speak and you guys sit here silently. So thank you for hearing me out. And I don't know that I have so much of a suggestion, but I am glad that you decided to delay your decision for the moment. So thank you for hearing me out.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for signing in. Thank you for signing in. Anybody else? No, the rest of you are just, oh, come on down.
I didn't sign in yet, so I will.
Well, you're going to sign in for me, Fran. And I hope the fact that I am inviting you to come up shows that we're listening.
Anyway, my name is Anea Ostrich, resident since '88 in College Park East. I'm only a couple of blocks away from that shooting and the killing of, unfortunately for him. Good for us because we were safe that night. But I got to hear the shots. I was only about 2 blocks away from that in College Park East, the incident. Anyway, safety. Safety on the road, safety going to school, safety going anywhere out of College Park East, especially in the mornings, especially in the evenings. You've got 2 lanes this way, you've got 2 lanes that way. And just like everyone else said, you know, in relation to emergency vehicles, that to me is more important because I've seen it. They go through our neighborhood when there's any accident there, any situation. You know, someone had a heart attack and died, or whatever it is. Somebody got hit, you know, walking on the street, you know, on that sidewalk, which I would never do, but someone has, and they get hurt because somebody slammed into them, or they fell off a bike, whatever it is. There's stoppage, and our neighborhood is affected. But mostly I want to say is safety. More so now because I just learned from a neighbor of mine, said every single street except Tulip one night at 3 a.m. in the morning was closed off by the police. This had nothing to do with the recent incident. This had to do with something else. Okay, so when I heard that, I go, Sean, are you messing with me? And he said, no. He said, every single one of them. And why did he know that? Because he was helping a neighbor who was going snowboarding that morning to get out of the track, and he goes, I can't get out. You couldn't go in and you couldn't go out. Now, how long it lasted, I don't know that. I just know that in the minutes that he had to, you know, take our other neighbor out there and get out, he said that was the only way out. So what I'm trying to say is increase in crime, or, you know, increase in anything happening over there, emergencies and whatnot, it's going to affect everyone. I mean, it's going to affect everyone on our side, and it will affect the new residents that, your plan is there. So I just wanted to say safety is a big issue. Please think about it. Please think about the turnarounds, because they're going to be a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to do a last call. And then if you would like to speak, just show me your hand, because this is a last call. Okay.
Hello, I'm Laura Tanner, and I will sign in.
Thank you.
I've just got a request. I found out about this meeting yesterday. I'm a resident of Rossmore, so sometimes I feel like I have no voice because we're not Los Al, we're not Seal Beach, but we get the brunt of everything that happens between those two cities. One of the questions, the respectful request I have is for next time we have a meeting here, could we have a bigger venue? Because there were hundreds of people outside. We have very concerned residents who want to come in and not stand outside. I know as Californians we complain about 40 degrees being cold, but we do get cold. So if we could have a bigger venue for the next time we have this so that more people can come in. And what I did not remember the gentleman's name that said a question and answer sort of form would be ideal as well, because there are a lot of, I know up there you guys see things that we don't see, and you take into things that we don't know about, and we'd like to be able to say we have this question and get an answer back in real time. So thank you very much. Thank you. Sign in.
All righty. Thank you, everyone that came up and shared. And Chet, can we say that we're taking donations to build a bigger space? We can host our meetings more illustriously, because I would love that too, Fran. I would love to have a much bigger space. We're going to move on to item 7, which are council announcements. And at this time, council members may also report on items not specifically described on the agenda that are of interest to the community, provided no action or discussion is taken except to provide staff direction to report back or to place the item on a future agenda. All righty, so we are going to start with newest in Miss Emily Hibbert.
Right,
What you been up to?
Thank you. Well, if we haven't had the opportunity to meet, my name's Emily Hibbert. I was just elected in November, so for the 5 of you who chose to stay, thank you. As the newest elected council member, this past week I went to a training in Sacramento with some of my colleagues here, which was very helpful, very informative, went over a lot of laws and regulations regarding city council. And for those of you that are curious, no, I did not get paid to go there. The city of Los Alamitos did pay for my Southwest flight and my hotel room, but I did not get paid. So for those that are financially curious, that's what happened. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Miss Tricia Murphy, what you been up to?
So, I've attended quite a few different events. I attended also the new mayors and council members event along with Mayor Doby and new council member Hibbert. I shouldn't call her new, I'm new as well. So I believe it was a truly enlightening experience that provided a great platform for a lot of local legislators to share their ideas, perspectives, and advice to others. I think it was a great opportunity for many local leaders to network, collaborate, and provide stepping stones for improvement and guidance in their local communities. Another thing that I believe was the City of Los Alamitos presented a bold and compelling voice for small communities that really resonated with the contributors and organizers of the event. I write a lot, so a lot of times doesn't come from the mind, but I did write all this because it's stuff that really, really did impact, influence me, and yeah. I also attended the newly elected Women's Happy Hour event at Kurt Pringle and Associates, where I was able to meet newly elected women who share their phenomenal experiences, challenges, and personal backgrounds. We were able to communicate, and just find a way that we can network in the future. Finally, I also attended the Meet Your New County Supervisor Coffee event, which was supposed to be with Andrew Doe, but unfortunately he was under the weather and he couldn't attend, but we still progressed with that. And I went there with also Mayor Doby and Councilmember Hibbert. So that's it.
Thank you. All right, Miss Shelley.
Thank you. Didn't have too many events. I did not attend the new council members and mayors. I feel a little left out, but that's okay. I did attend the swearing-in for our new state senator, Janet Wynn. She knows our city very, very well. She is a voice that will represent us up in Sacramento. Yeah, it was a good swearing-in done at Huntington Beach City Council, or council chambers. So she is definitely on our team and wants to help us however possible. The other thing I just wanted to remind everybody, I know Saturday there was a lot of activity at the base. Rattled my windows. I live about 3 houses from the entrance of the base. There's a lot that goes on at our base that causes a lot of noise, a lot of times on the weekends, a lot of times at night. This last weekend, they had the change of command for the generals for the 79th Sustainment. That included a 21-gun cannon salute. So they practiced at 9 a.m. and then they did the salute at 11:15. So if you didn't hear it the first time, you heard it the second time. And there were a lot of people going, what's going on? Because it literally did rattle the windows, but it was all a good thing. The other thing, they have Air Force training over at the base. They have the Army Aviation coming over and doing training, and a lot of it is night training because they need to train at night. Not all the missions are during the day. So, and we are the only, I believe, base in LA County, Orange County that has active runways. So they use us a lot because otherwise they have to go to March Air Force Base or down to San Diego. So it's an honor to be able to have them here, but it does come with noise. We also have in October the noise of the air show. Nobody seems to complain about that because it's really cool to see the Blue Angels flying over your backyard. Mm-hmm. But it's the same as far as the training and everything else. So just keep that in mind. The base was here before the city was, and we are honored and blessed to be a military town. So if you wake up at 9 a.m. on Saturday to cannons, it's okay. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Shelley. All right, Mayor Pro Tem Nafolda, what you got?
Thank you. It's funny that you mentioned that. I heard something the other day, probably like at 1:30 in the morning, that I was convinced it was UFOs, but, coming from the base. Anyways, I actually took some downtime after the holidays and spent it with my family. So other than the two OC sanitation board meetings, I kind of laid low and have nothing to report.
I hope you enjoyed your downtime. We all need a little bit of that. And Ms. Shelley, I'll defer back to you real quick.
Just real quick, and I forgot, I had it in my notes, but I wasn't reading. You can also join the Joint Forces Training Base Facebook page. They announce all of their upcoming training and when it's going to take place. They also publish it on Nextdoor, and I know our city does a good job when they get the notification. It's also on our website. So they usually don't surprise us. It's just, you need to kind of look for the information, and I found that their Facebook page is updated quite frequently. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. All righty. I attended my regular Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control District meetings. I had the distinct honor and pleasure of swearing in the new board for our chamber at their chamber breakfast. I also attended the neighborhood coffee where Andrew Doe was supposed to have come, but we actually got to get a pretty good dialogue going with Mr. Tran, and I'm actually pretty excited to be working with him in their office over the next series of my tenure. And then we went to the League of California Cities, and y'all, it was good. Like, I was a little intimidated, believe it or not, but because there's so many. Everybody else was new, but you're right across the street from the real decision makers and the movers and the shakers, and we actually, as our small city, got to sit down with some of them. They took time to meet with us and actually hear us. You know, when you can see the pivot when you're talking to somebody, and they're like, you're cute, and then you say something that clicks, and they're like, okay, now you have my attention. We had several moments like those. So Los Alamitos is on the radar in Sacramento. So I'm excited for what we're going to get done over the next few months. And that's it for our council announcements. We will now move on to item 8, items from our city manager.
Nothing at this time, Madam Mayor.
Watch out now. Next, we have our warrants. Can I get a motion?
I'll move it.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Doby?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Nafolda?
Yes.
Councilmember Hasselbrink?
Yes.
Councilmember Hibbard?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Perfect. Next, we'll go to the consent calendar. All consent calendar items may be acted upon by one motion unless a council member requests separate action on a specific item. Does anyone have an item that they would like to pull? No? All righty.
I'll move the consent.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Outstanding. Next, we have the approval of the minutes.
No, that's consent.
Now you go to 11A.
I go to 11A? That's not on. Okay, we'll go to 11A. Discussion items. So a continuation of the automated license plate reader program. Can I get a staff report?
Yes, ma'am. I'd actually like to turn this over to Chief Claiborne.
And I will be delegating this to Captain Byerly, who is here tonight.
And he'll be delegating it to.
As long as the delegate is in the room, we all right.
Whew. Yeah, good evening, Mayor and council members. We almost had an accident. Somebody almost tripped over the cord here. So anyways, so back in August of 2021, we came to council and we said, hey, look, we have some increases in crime, auto theft, catalytic converter thefts, and we looked at ways to help, tools in our toolbox to solve crime. We looked at automated license plate readers and entered into an agreement with Flock Safety, the vendor, and they came out and worked with us, looked at the deployment map and located some intersections throughout the city that best cover entry and exit points, and we entered into this lease agreement for 12 automated license plate readers. So with implementation and installation, those were installed. We went live in February of 22, and they're they're still in place right now. So the 1-year pilot program is coming up here, and we're looking at, we'd like to renew that lease and continue to utilize this product. It went live in February, and we didn't start collecting data until a couple months later. So we have 9 months of data that we looked at, and these things have proven to be just amazing. For that 9-month period, those license plate readers captured vehicle information from 24,876,874 vehicles coming through our city. It's pretty impressive. Their proprietary technology is it is truly a force multiplier. And the people get concerned about, Big Brother, what does it do? And these readers, they're cameras. They take high speed, high resolution pictures of vehicles that are driving through, and the picture is of the license plate. You don't see the driver. There's no facial recognition or any issues like that. And I guess a good example is just kind of how it works, how our detective bureau utilizes this technology is, think of any crime where we just have a vague vehicle description or maybe even a partial license plate. It's rare for us to actually respond to a crime and somebody says, yeah, here's a license plate, I got it, that's great. So we end up with a partial description a lot of times. What our detectives do is we access the database and we look at the time frame of the crime and we just enter, show me every red 4-door Toyota, at 11 o'clock at night in this area. And that technology, it pulls up pictures of every red 4-door Toyota coming through the intersections in the city. But this time, we're able to capture the license plate. Now that we have that plate line in hand, then we run the license plate out, find out who the registered owner is, pull up their DMV photo, and now we have a picture of somebody that we can go back to the victim and say, does this person look familiar to you? Or a witness, does this person look familiar to you? This is how we're using this on a daily basis. So every case that comes into the Detective Bureau that has a partial description, we're on that flock. We're on the flock database, and we're running it out to see if it's very helpful. There was several months ago. There was in Huntington Beach. There was a jewelry store robbery. It was a shootout, and those suspects fled. And I tell you what, before anything else, when that suspect came in here, we got notified from a license plate reader hit because that vehicle was stolen out of Lenox a couple weeks prior, and it was already in the system. So it's pretty effective. Aside from how our detectives use it, just kind of on a daily basis, Westcom Communications, they get notified when vehicles that are on what they call a hot list come through. That notification is made to dispatch. They verify the information through the stolen vehicle system, for instance, and our officers are notified. And then we go and look to see if we can find this car that popped up. Just in that 9-month period, just for certain, there were 27 people arrested based on just that workflow alone. Dispatch getting notified that there's a hot list vehicle here, radio dispatch to our officers, they respond, they find the vehicle, suspects get taken to jail. And I'll tell you, more than half the time, it's not just the stolen vehicle that they're arrested for. We search the vehicle and we find guns, we find drugs. So the system is truly just a force multiplier. Highly effective.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments that you would like to share?
A question and a comment, and I do agree. I know when we approved this back in February, I think we started seeing the benefits within 2 weeks, maybe a week. I mean, it was quick, and being a small force, that just gives us extra eyes on the road. The data's not stored anywhere. Like you said, Big Brother's not watching you. This is simply to help catch criminals, and it's done an amazing job. The question I did have, I think probably for you, Chet, on the staff report under recommendation, it says an additional amount of $3,600 a year, but down at the bottom, the fiscal impact is $33,600 a year. Did we miss a 3, or am I reading that wrong? Because this is to renew the contract, correct?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So as to the staff report with the request for authorization for $3,600, that's a request to add on an additional retention period. Under the existing agreement, the data was retained, I believe, for a period of 30 days. With this add-on, the data would be secured and stored for up to 365 days. So that's the $3,600. And then the underlying $30,000 is just the baseline cost of operating the system per our existing agreement. So it's those two numbers for the total.
We approved this in February
That's
last year.
For $30,000. Well, $30,600.
So that annual renewal is coming up in February.
That is correct, ma'am.
So are we just approving the additional storage of 3,600, or are we also approving a new year-long contract?
The contract, unless the city council directs staff to terminate, will automatically renew at the existing annual rate.
It will.
On the renewal date.
Right.
But I think we're seeking, sorry.
No.
I believe, and the captain can jump in as well, but I believe we're seeking authorization just to continue the program because as initially presented to council, it was a request to give this a go for a year and then see if we wanted to continue with the program.
Right, but we're not.
No, and I think I can answer the question. It's
Yeah.
so
You see where I'm
the
kinda
short
confused?
the $3,600 that we're asking for permission today is in order to extend the retention period to a year.
Okay.
That puts us in line with current state law to make sure that we're retaining the data for that long of a period. It also has a benefit to our officers and our detectives who are actually doing review of this data. They're able to do a deeper dive and pull more data out. When we get to February, there will be a renewal of the contract. And as the city attorney stated, the reason that we're bringing this back to you today is because there is an enhancement of holding onto that data for a little bit longer in order to put ourselves in line with state law. But my intention is to include this within the budget for the next year. So there will be and it's under the cap of what I'm able to approve myself.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm just kind of getting a little nitpicky because I want to understand the numbers. On recommendation number 1, the approve the continuation, that's the $33,600, correct? On recommendation number 1, approve the continuation of the automatic license plate reader program at $33,600. And then number 2 is to approve the retention, additional retention for $3,600 a year, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, I just wanted to understand, we're approving two things that hit the pocketbook.
And again, it could have been rented a little more clearly. I realize that now that we were trying to just ensure that the council was aware that this was a pilot program and that we do intend to continue it going forward. But again,
Right.
that will be an action that will be brought to the council.
And it doesn't change my vote. I think that for what we're spending on this, I just want to make sure that we understand we're approving two different things with fiscal impacts.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Nope. All righty. So we will move on to B. Oh, Lord. Okay. Is a vote? It's a motion? Can I get one?
I'll move it.
And a second?
I'll second.
And is a roll call? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay. Now B?
Yes.
Okay. Now we do B. Who's in charge of B?
Me.
Ms. Wendy, you're up. I need a staff report.
So item 11B is for the Southern California Association of Governments Annual Conference. It will be held this year in Palm Desert from May 4th to 5th. The city is a member of SCAG, and therefore we can delegate or select a delegate and an alternate. One aspect of the annual conference is the General Assembly, where the membership considers actions such as the fiscal budget, the new officers, and proposed amendments to the bylaws. So at this time, council can appoint a delegate and an alternate. The delegate does attend the conference free of charge.
I would like to be the delegate this year. Anybody else wanted to be the delegate this year?
And keep in mind, Chet, isn't SCAG very involved with arena number development?
Very much so.
Yeah. That's why I would like to go. They might not want me to go, but I would like to go.
Go for it.
So then, and then we need a
alternate?
An alternate as well,
Okay, and
just
then-
in case.
Can I get an alternate for just in case? Or I gotta pick one, because I'll pick one. I'm looking at you, Emily.
You can be
I saw you.
You can be voluntold.
I'll be the alternate.
Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to talk quick, because I know everybody's name up here. All righty, so there is, I don't need a roll call on this, so can I get a motion?
Come on, somebody else.
I'm gonna make a motion. I'll make a motion for my own self. Okay, and then a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All righty. And then we move 12A.
Do we still need a second action to appoint the alternate? The motion was to appoint her as the primary, correct?
I thought I put them both together, but please help me.
I thought it
Am I
was for
mishearing
both
things?
together as well.
Okay, I'm gonna just sit back now. Then.
You're not used to such efficiency, huh?
You've used all your words
Would you mind
tonight
telling me
anyway.
who the alternate is? So
In the folder.
Okay,
In the
thank you.
folder.
Yeah. Sorry. All right, so 12A, that just got moved, so I can turn my page. Or you need to do something.
Sorry, so that has been noticed as a public hearing. I know that a lot of folks already spoke
Yes.
on this item previously, but I would ask that we open the public hearing and determine whether or not anyone else wants to provide testimony before hearing from the city manager on what his recommendation is.
Okay, so y'all heard the city attorney. I have a few people left in the audience. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? No? Okay.
Madam Mayor, it's my recommendation that we move this item to a date specific in February, which will be the February 23rd
First.
Third, I believe.
meeting.
Holiday.
Let me double check.
No, should
One
be the
moment.
21st.
I think, yes, sorry, February 21st at 6 PM.
And that would be my recommendation, Mayor.
All right. Well, I agree. So
We've got to do something with the recommendation.
Could we get a motion?
Yeah.
to-
can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
There you go.
Thank you. I need a roll call, or can we all say it?
All in favor?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Okay.
You're adjourned.
Hey, and we got out right a little after 8. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I appreciate your participation. Safe travels as you make your way home.
Aw.